So in this video on the marketing list functionality within Microsoft Dynamics for Sales, we're going to go into a bit more detail on static lists and specifically how you can add and remove records from static lists. Now, with dynamic lists, it's a little bit more simple. You define the criteria for that list, and those that meet the criteria are included and those that don't meet the criteria excluded. With the static list, you control it. So you determine who goes into a list or you determine who's removed from a list. There's no automation to that as such, and there's a number of different tools that allow you to do that. And those tools we're going to go into in a bit more detail in this particular video. Now, this is one of a series that we've done. You can see links to others in the series below. Also, if you've got any suggested content ideas or you need any help with Microsoft Dynamics, you can see links for that below as well. So what I'm going to do as part of showing these tools for adding and removing records, I'm in the marketing list area at the moment. So I'm going to click New to create a new marketing list. And let's just clear those suggestions. Firstly, I'll give it a name, so we'll call it Test 7, and I'm ignore purpose. By default, it's said it's a static list, but I could have chosen dynamic if I want to, but static is what we're going through today. And then we just need to say who it's targeted at. So we've got the option of account or organization, contact, people, leads. Most people are going to use marketing lists for contact records, people records, so that's what I will do today. And I'm not going to fill out the other fields, but that allows me to do the basics. So I'm just going to save that now. And I've saved my marketing list. If I go to the members area, you'll see there's nothing in there. We haven't added any records so far. So the first way I could add records is actually directly from, in this particular case, a contact record. So if I go to the contacts area, for example, and let's pick Nancy Anderson here, I go to Nancy Anderson's contact record, you'll note from within that contact record, I've got the option to add to a marketing list. So if I just do that and start to search, we call that Test 7, didn't we? So there we have it. I can only add Nancy to static lists. I can't add Nancy to a dynamic list. Now I'll just select Test 7 and then at the bottom there just click Add. If I go back to marketing lists, specifically I open Test 7 and I go to the members tab, which was empty before, we can now see that we've added Nancy Anderson, so that's fine. So what other options have I got for adding? Well, from within this members tab, this members area here, members of the marketing list, I've got an add button, and that allows me to look up records. In other words, it allows me to search in the system for individual contact records and add them. Now, I'm not going to do that for the moment. I will do that in a minute. But if I go to the manage members area, which is a little bit confusing. So if I click on Manage Members, I get exactly the same dialog, the ability to search for contact records in the system and add them to my list. But if I look alongside that, I've got a down arrow there just to the right of the Manage Members button. And when I click that, that gives me a lot more options. So I've got add using lookup, which is exactly what I've just shown you. But I've also got the option of add using advanced find, or remove using advanced find, or evaluate using advanced find. And we'll touch on those in a bit more detail in a minute. But if I want to add looking at using the lookup, it's exactly as I showed it before. Now, if I want to add Sydney to this, search the system for Sydney Higer. Sorry, this is Microsoft standard data, so a fairly limited data set. Let's find Sydney. If I select Sydney there, and I've got the ability to search for more records if I wanted to. If there were 2 or 3 other contacts I wanted to add, I could search for them and add them. And when I'm happy, which I am at the moment, I'll just click Add. So that is how I can add records to a static marketing list using a lookup style search, but I could also do it by using an advanced find. So I'm going to, in this case, add using advanced find. So just click on that and I get an advanced find style dialog, modern version of the advanced find. And if I want to add somebody to that, what I can do, by the way, is use an existing saved view. So let's say I have created a view using advanced find, or maybe I've got standard system views. I can use those as the basis for my search. If I wish to, I'm not going to do that. I'll build one from scratch. Now, we have shown elsewhere in this series fairly detailed videos on how to use the advanced find criteria, both in terms of adding individual fields, also incorporating all criteria, and being able to search for data based on data that's held in a number of different related record types. So I'm not going to go into that in too much detail. You might want to reference those videos if you want to see some of the more advanced aspects of advanced find. But what I'm going to do is add a row, in other words, search by a particular field, and I'll do a couple of fields. In this case, I'll select my field, let's say city address. Their address city is Seattle. And let's add something else. Let's add email address. Email, let's say, contains data. There we go, contains data. And that's going to be my query. So the query is they have an address in Seattle and their email contains data. I've got the find button in the corner here. It's not going to do anything. It's just other than tell me what data will meet those criteria, and then it's down to me to tell it what to do with it. So I could go back to the query and refine it. Or I've got the option to add selected, so I could just tick a particular field here and say I'll select those ones and add only selected, or I've got the ability to add them all, so I'm going to add them all. Now, interestingly, Nancy was in that group. I added her manually, and she was in that Seattle group, but it hasn't added her twice. So we've now used advanced find to add those members. What I can also do, if I go back to manage members, I can remove using advanced find. So a couple of instances you might want to use this. You don't have the ability to remove using by a lookup. So if you wanted to remove particular individuals, you could say query by their full name, surname, for example, and find those records and remove them that way. There is another option for doing that, which I'll show in a moment. But another common use case is you've been adding records over time. Perhaps you're about to do a mailing. You just might want to check that you've excluded anybody that should be excluded, for example, because they've unsubscribed. So in this particular case, that's what I'm going to do. So add a row. I'm going to select the field, and I think we have some do not bulk email. So the do not bulk email equals do not allow. So is there anybody that meets that particular criteria? I'm going to find that, and we come across Nancy. So Nancy was one I manually added originally. I now want to remove her because we're going to be doing a mailing, so I don't want to mail her if she's unsubscribed, and I'm going to remove all. So that's Nancy removed from the list. The other option I've got for removing from the list is to perhaps search for somebody, because I've got filters on this, or if I can see a particular record, I could just tick that record, and then I've got the three dots here. I've got the option to remove. And that's not deleting that particular record, it's just removing them from that particular marketing list. So hopefully that's helped you understand the different options you've got for adding and removing records from a marketing list. I say this is one of the series. You can see links to others in the series below. If you've got any content suggestions or you need any help with Microsoft Dynamics, please see the links below as well. Thank you very much for your time today, and hopefully see you again soon.